right, guys, welcome back to another video. Lots to talk about today, from some Xbox news to some news about a bunch of other games and some updates here on Black Myth Wukong, as well as Towerborne, and what is going on with that with the Steam release for the early access. But before we continue and jump into all the news, if you do enjoy daily gaming news and content, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button on the video. Also check out my link to my Spotify in the description. So Avowed, we know, has been pushed to February of 2025 to get out of the whole November mess with all of the games that are in there. There's so much stuff to play between now and the end of the year, but February is going to be very much easier for Avowed, with games like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 and Civilization 7 all releasing right around it. But we've seen lots of information on Avowed, and the game does look very good. It looks like it is going to be another hit here from Obsidian. And one of the best things about Obsidian games is just the multiple endings, the choices, and everything you do has an effect on the outcomes. And now we have some more information about how many different endings there are going to be. There's more than 10 different endings Obsidian is claiming. This was Carrie Patel, who is the director at Obsidian, speaking to IGN, and they asked about the number of endings for the game, saying, "That's very hard to say. I can tell you our ending slides number in the double digits. You can end up with a lot of different combinations of them." And says here that the ending slides likely refer to the post-game still images with context that tells the players what happened to both of them and the characters they have met along their journey. And says your ending is the sum of the total of your choices across the game. And of course, I mean, that's Obsidian games. That is great things about RPGs, where your choices make a difference in what happens. If you remember, like the Outer Worlds, where that was huge in there. So that is awesome to see. Over 10 endings that you're going to be able to end up having, which I love, because you're talking to people who have played the game after you've gone through it. Everyone always has a different experience, and those kind of things make playing these games very enjoyable. So very excited for Avowed. We've seen pretty much everything about it that we need to see, I would say, before its release. I guess other than if you're looking for like the specific performance tests and graphic tests for fidelity and stuff, maybe that's people will want to see as well before they do jump in. But other than that, we've seen gameplay, we've seen the characters, we've seen dialogue. Now we're hearing about the amount of endings. So I just can't wait for this one to get here. It's just going to be pushed now until February, which is okay because of all of the other things that I am playing and have to play until that does release. Now, one of the announcements that was kind of head scratching for a lot of people, and even myself, this one didn't make too much sense to me, is Towerborne. Towerborne, as we know, is part of Xbox Games Publishing. It's being developed by Stoic Studio, so it is a first-party Xbox game as they're funding it. And it was a game that they've announced for Game Pass for a long time now. A lot of people were expecting it to come out in 2024. But now we know it's being pushed to 2025. It's also free to play, and it is an early access debuting in Steam, not on Xbox. So you're going to wait until 2025 on Xbox to play the game. So the question here is, why didn't they put this on Xbox in early access first, rather than putting it on Steam? There's also the other thing here where people have been playing this via the cloud and everything, I believe, in early access on their Xbox. So there's a lot of questions here going on. But we have some more information about why this is happening. So it says here, not only will the game now be launching as free-to-play title in 2025, but it is early access period beginning in September exclusively on Steam. In an interview with the Xbox Gamescom live stream, the decision behind this was explained, and here's what they say. Getting the game into players' hands is super important to us. We want to have the discussion with the community and have them be a part of the game building process. And getting there, being able to have that and have the input and take it in, Steam just happens to do that well for us. And we want to make sure we're really fully prepared for when we come to Xbox Game Preview next year and have an expansive number of players coming in that we're truly ready for, and we don't want to disappoint. So what they're saying basically is that the process of early access is better through Steam than it is through Xbox. And that's why they're going with that and getting PC players in there to try it out and get all of the feedback first, to be the beta testers basically for the game itself. So take that for what you will. I mean, at the end of the day, I guess the upside and positive side for the Xbox players is this game should release in a better state than when it first launches here on Steam in early access. And again, so many games coming out. Is it a big deal? I would say it's a big deal for people that were looking forward to it and expecting it to release on Xbox first. But other than that, I'm still excited for this to eventually release in the best state possible. But that one was definitely a head scratcher And now we kind of know why. Not a surprise. That's kind of what I had thought. They're probably just thinking that PC and Steam was the easier process and that's why they're doing it. But unfortunately, if you are on the console, you're going to have to wait a bit longer to jump in and play it. Now, when it comes to Game Pass, there are more games that are being announced for Game Pass throughout Gamescom. We had a game like Atomfall that is coming to Game Pass, which looks really cool, kind of like a Fallout and Atomic Heart, everything mixed in there. First-person adventure game that we did see, and we also heard that the new Sniper Elite game is coming to Game Pass. So stuff that wasn't shown off at a Gamescom opening night live, the main show, there's coming to Game Pass as well. And there's more from the day 2 stream here from Xbox, some games to look forward to. They showed off a bunch of different things, but specifically coming to Xbox Game Pass, games that we haven't heard about yet other than like Towerborne and Microsoft Flight Simulator. Void Train is coming to Xbox Game Pass in 2025. And this is a first-person action adventure game. You can see a screenshot of it here. And if we do go down, we'll be able to see a bit more of it. It looks pretty cool. Not going to lie, this looks like it's a fun one. It is coming in Q1 of 2025. You can see it here. Has some interesting aesthetic and graphics and just design, like in the air with the train and stuff. It looks pretty cool. It looks like there's a lot of stuff mixed in here. First-person adventure game. And then there is the other game here, Lost in Random, The Eternal Die, which is a roguelike game with dice and dungeons and stuff. And I believe this is the second one in this series for the Lost in Random, which is cool. It says Lost in Random, The Eternal Die is an action-packed roguelite adventure in the world of random. Play as Queen Alexandra and wield her living die companion Fortune as they go all in against the ancient evil that took everything from her. So those two games coming to Xbox Game Pass in 2025. Just more stuff to look forward to in the service itself. Now, when it comes to Shattered Space, this is the DLC coming to Starfield on September 30th. And we have more information on the game itself. So this is the previews for it. It's horror driven, which is cool to hear. Combat intensive. It says you can leave the planet anytime you wish, but the plot is entirely self-contained. An exploration of the planet and its city will lead to uncovering exactly what happened. Shattered Space Planet has more of an alien world feel. There's abandoned sci-fi corridors plagued by grim beasts. There's a fear-like atmosphere, and it's a handcrafted world, new weapons, new gear, and new items. So Shattered Space, if you're a fan of Starfield, this is basically a brand new adventure within the game that people are going to have to look forward to coming September 30th. I am looking forward to it. I enjoyed the main Starfield game. I will definitely be jumping in and playing the Shattered Space DLC when it does drop on September 30th. Now, if you're looking forward to Warzone, Call of Duty, I mean, Black Ops 6 is coming up, which is going to be huge, coming to Game Pass. But there's also this here, the new Warzone map confirmed to be Area 99. So this was shared on Twitter by Charlie Intel, saying that the map will be revealed in full at Call of Duty Next, an event that will include live gameplay and a deep dive into the map's features with Raven Software. So that's the new map, and of course, we want to see more. Call of Duty Next will be huge for the launch of Black Ops 6 and everything that is to come to that. We've already seen the zombies pretty much, which looks phenomenal. We've seen the single player campaign now at Gamescom Live, which also looks phenomenal. Multiplayer is what we need to see more of, but we've already seen tons of leaks of that from that PlayStation 4 version of it with the Omni movement, which looks like a ton of fun. So Black Ops 6 is going to be a great game, and I can't wait to jump into it when it does drop. Now, we got College Football 25 this year, the first college football game about 9-10 years since NCAA Football 14, and it has taken the gaming world by storm. It has pushed consoles, and it has sold so well that it has become America's best-selling video game of 2024. And I have to say, I've played a lot of College Football 25 since it released, and it's actually a good football game. It is a fun football game. It is, in my opinion, the first good football game that EA has released in a very long time, because I think Madden has been lacking for a very long time. But College Football 25, not perfect, but it's fun, and that is the main thing for me. We have this here from Matt Piscatella of Circana talking about the year-to-date sales ending of July 2024, the top 20 best-selling premium games in the US and dollar sales, physical and digital. And you can see here right at the top, EA Sports College Football 25. That's a pretty impressive comeback. And it's not that surprising because it was a popular game and it was gone for so long. What will be interesting to see is, do these sales continue for 26 and 27 and 28 as this series does go on? Maybe not the top selling game, but will it still be as popular as it is with having that 10-year delay, I guess you could say, until the next game. And just under that, you still have Helldivers 2, which is doing very well still. And I'm guessing a lot of those are on a PC, but still doing very, very well. Move down to number 2. And then you have Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, and it's still there in the top 3. Dragon's Dogma 2 at number 4. EA Sports MVP bundle at number 5, which I'm not sure what that is. Is that, I think that's Madden and College mixed together. You get both of them, something like that. So lots of stuff here going on here in sports games. I mean, they dominate because people buy sports games. It's like the only game that they buy, and they play that all year. So when they do come out, they do an insane amount of sales. The consoles are always something we talk about as we're going 4 years on. Their performance. Are they going to be able to keep up with the latest AAA games? And it looks like they are having troubles here as we are moving forward with bigger, newer games, at least to stick to the 60 frames per second. I think some developers do it far better than others. They give you more options. They give you even like a 40 FPS mode, or they just do whatever they have to do to get the game to run at 60 FPS, even if that means just really dumbing down the fidelity. Some people just want 60 FPS no matter what it does to like the lighting and everything. But Monster Hunter Wilds is going to be a massive, massive game, and it looks like it could be limited to 30 frames per second on the consoles. Now, this is a rumor, so take with a grain of salt. It may not be true. It may just be at this moment, and when it does release, it will have 60 FPS. But here is what it says. The frame rates on Monster Hunter Wilds could be limited on consoles according to people who've played the demo while at Gamescom. The game appeared to be running at 30 FPS on the PlayStation 5. It says demo was on PS5 and didn't run at 60 FPS, but felt like a stable 30 FPS. So we'll see if that does happen. They say, for what it's worth, Dragon's Dogma 2, another Capcom game, was 30 FPS during the demos ahead of its launch. However, when it was released on console, it eventually was given an update to set the frame rate options within the game setting. And I have a feeling that they may do that again here with Monster Hunter Wilds, because you're going to the show at Gamescom. You want to show off the most stable build that you do have to the people playing it on the console, and maybe a 40 FPS or 60 FPS mode or whatever, or performance mode of some sort, just wasn't ready or wasn't stable enough for Gamescom. So that's why they just did the locked 30 FPS for people to check out the game. That would make a ton of sense to me. And then when it does release, they have that patch for 60 frames per second. I would not be surprised. So keep that one as a grain of salt, but that is what it's looking like right now based off of the Gamescom previews. All right, jumping over here, let's talk the Callisto Protocol dev striking distance, which it's been interesting to see what's happened with them, with the original creator of the developer leaving and everything. And the game itself just not really living up to the hype. It looks like there is a new game coming out from them. It's a spin-off of Callisto Protocol, and this is called Redacted. So it says here, previously known as Project Bird's Eye Redacted, it is an action roguelike game set in the same universe as the 2022 survival horror game, which Striking Distance says is being worked on by a small team alongside its next full-scale game. So Redacted takes you deep into Black Iron Prison, a high-tech correctional facility on Jupiter's icy moon Callisto, and inmates are infected and mutating security systems as indiscriminate, and other survivors are trying to escape by any means necessary. And it says, and though you're just a modest security guard with one job, make it the last escape pod alive, you'll have an arsenal of weapons, suits, skills, experiments, and more to help you get out of Black Iron Prison alive. So that is the spinoff from the studio that is coming. I'll see how it does. I like when studios do this, when they're working on a main game, but they have a smaller team doing spinoffs and different styles of games. Generally, they're far more focused on the fun and the gameplay, which is what I like. They're more like AA style of games. So that is cool to see. This is one that will be interesting to see how it does. So they say, according to the developer, the game includes all the greatest hits of the roguelike genre, like unlimited replayability, strategic built metas, progression through death, powerful upgrades, and speed running challenges. So if you're looking for a roguelike game in the Callisto Protocol universe, it is going to be coming here. Looks like here that it will be launching on, I was going to say we don't have a release date, but we do. We'll launch on Xbox Series XS, PS5, and PC on October 31st. Just on Halloween. It makes complete sense. That universe, that release date, that is something that is cool to see. So very soon. I mean, this holiday season, this Christmas season, it is jam-packed with games. Like from September to December, there's just so many things, and I like how they spread it out. We have like even Indiana Jones coming out in December at the end of the year, which is going to keep games coming nonstop. Now we know Black Myth Wukong is doing insane numbers in terms of sales and everything. And one of the things people continuously want to know is what's going on with Xbox version, because it is coming to Xbox, but because of some issues that we don't know the exact issues, it is coming to Xbox at some point. Now, there is a little bit of an update, but it's not really an update. It's basically just kind of reiterating what a lot of people thought, which is that there's some sort of technical issues going on to get the game running properly on Xbox. And especially from what we've seen with the PlayStation 5 version and the frame rates and everything, it does not surprise that there were technical issues, and it means that when it does launch on Xbox, I'm hoping it'll be in a better state. But Paul Tassi for Forbes put out an article and basically says the bad news is that once again Xbox seems to have blundered into Baldur's Gate 3 situation, saying that the reason the game didn't make it to Xbox at launch is because of a tech issue. While the specific issue isn't mentioned in the report, it does seem to imply that the game isn't running on the Xbox Series S as well as it should. Now, he doesn't explicitly say that. He just implies that that is the reason overall. We don't know what that means. Xbox, I think here, when this is happening, they have to get involved early in the process and make sure that they do whatever they have to do to get the game running on the Series S. And if that means taking away some of those clauses so that it has some features that may not be there, the graphical features, they have to get that so that the games don't miss the release dates, because Black Myth Wukong is a major miss because of just how popular it is. Now, albeit it is huge in China and it has a huge push there and everything, but still, overall, it is a massive game with over 2.2 million players on Steam that day one or something along those lines, breaking the record of Powerworld, which was pretty crazy. And we have a couple more things here to talk about. This one's hilarious because what an insane claim I thought that he made, Randy Pitchford here, back when he was talking about Borderlands and the Epic Game Store and everything. He had predicted the store's death, Steam store's death, which was just absurd. We've seen games fail because they don't launch on Steam. It has not been the other way around where they launch on Epic and not on Steam and do extremely well. But it says here in a lengthy Twitter thread following the 2019 news, Pitchford had claimed that when we look back at Steam in 5 or 10 years, it may look like a dying store. And now, as we know, Borderlands 4 got announced that Gamescom Open Night Live, and it's not an Epic Games exclusive. It is coming onto Steam. They learned their lesson to not try to kill the game right as it launches by keeping it off of Steam. And it says here, however, the exec claimed that Borderlands 3 and Tiny Tina's Wonderlands demonstrated clearly that the customers show up for the games, not the storefront. And that with their launches on the Epic Game Store and the bemoaned Steam competitors shooting themselves in the foot, it says if Epic successfully pressed its advantage, Steam dying may have been the case, but Epic did not. And it says, so famously, Steam does very little to earn the massive cut they take and continues its effective monopoly in the West, while would-be competitors with much more developer-friendly models continue to shoot themselves in the foot. And that's one thing that Epic did do, is they gave way more cut to the developers. And he went on and he kept going about how Steam was going to die and all of that stuff. And now he comes out here and says, well, meanwhile, I sincerely hope Epic keeps up the fight and makes headway. Epic is going to have to prioritize the store and try some new initiatives, while also doubling down on earning pivotal exclusives if it's going to have a chance. I also hope other viable competitors arrive. I'm sure we will be watching. As a developer, I will continue to balance being where the customers are with being where I wished would earn the customers' trust and loyalty. As a game player, I will be on all platforms. So basically, he comes out here and takes back Steam dying. And that was apparent, of course, when they announced Borderlands 4, just a quick splash screen. And it was kind of at a terrible time if you think about it. I think they were expecting the Borderlands movie to take off and then have all this hype for the next Borderlands game. But I feel like not that many people care that much about Borderlands 4 in the announcement after they did their splash screen and just teaser of it. But at that same time, they did announce that it was coming over to Steam, which I think is a very, very good move. He also adds here that the Steam Deck user, his bias for personal interest and convenience, was fighting against his wish for a more developer-friendly alternative, and just basically says that it's a cool lesson for me and anyone who wants to learn from my experience. Moving forward, we'll continue to support Steam, as we have literally every PC game we've launched since Steam came into existence. So if you're looking for next Borderlands and beyond and games from Randy Pitchford, they're coming to Steam. He learned his lesson. They can't be missing out on all of the gamers out there who want to only play on Steam. And it is the same a concept and a reason Xbox puts their games now on PlayStation, and PlayStation puts their games now on PC. Everyone knows this is such a huge base of players that they need to access to acquire money from to be able to continue to make these games that have such high development costs. And finally, if you were a fan of the Tomb Raider games, which I am, even the last 3 from Crystal Dynamics, I thought were really, really good. We now know they're under Embracer, and Amazon Games working on the next Tomb Raider game, but apparently the development is going well. Christoph Hartmann at Amazon Games reassured fans that it is going well in an interview with IGN, saying the studio, from what I can tell, is fairly sheltered from everything going on with Embracer. I mean, it has to, because Embracer never was one company. It was just an accumulation of an incredibly large amount of independent businesses. And it's not just games development. They're like books and games, this and that. And they always were very sheltered. People obviously look at what the parent company is doing, but it never impacted on resources, never led to any changes on management for them. So they are fine. And he says, I mean, doing a Tomb Raider game, the bar is high. The longer you go, the expectation goes higher. So it's huge task, but things are progressing. Continues here and says, I mean, there's some really great ideas here. Obviously, we're not going to share any of them with you, even if we would love to, but things are going well. Things are moving forward. So if you're worried about the next Tomb Raider game from Amazon Games, as what he is saying here, things are okay. They have the resources. The game is progressing. It is in development, but we'll have to see how they do, because the last 3 games I thought were really good, and they're going to have to live up to that and surpass that with this next Tomb Raider game. But I'm going to end the video there, guys. If you did enjoy this video, hit that thumbs up. If you're new here, hit that subscribe. Catch you guys in the next video.